Hello, everybody. Welcome to the UNFAMOUS Podcast.
Yeah, we got a new host.
Yeah.
Acting lead Staples.
Under the fiction. Everybody.
Oh,
We
shit.
got some sound clips today.
Yeah. We got, say your name. What's your name again, Josh?
God damn, bro. You don't know my name? That's my wrestling intro music right here.
We got Josh Mitsluggis entering the building.
Eddie Hardaway.
Eddie Hardaway. And onto our left-hand side, we got...
Tasty Jake.
Damn, bro.
I just had to do it.
Son of a bitch.
You know I was going to do it. I was going to do it.
I didn't do my wrestling intro music.
Yeah.
And the heavyweight champ of the world.
Oh, man. So let's begin with how was everybody's week today? Start with you, Jake.
How was everybody's week today?
Yeah.
That don't even make sense.
How was everybody's week today? Not today, but how was everybody's week?
That's what you
said,
said, though. You said
yeah.
today. Bro, you was on that shit.
I was trying to figure out
what you was smoking on. You got that man some gummies or something? What the fuck? You talking about how was everybody? Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Give you those special gummies.
Oh, yeah.
But my week was cool, I guess. Still getting used to this whack ass work schedule.
Yo, how was that?
Come on, that's not that bad.
That shit is trash.
What time do you have to show up? Is it 3 though?
3:45, man.
Yeah, that is trash. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry.
On Alpha, you know how trash that is. We worked there the other day. It was trash.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shit was trash. But
I mean, I was just gonna say it was trash because of the leadership, but
hey, well, I'm not gonna call no names out. Who was actually leading it? It wasn't me.
But aren't you the lead, though?
right.
Hey,
I was not Kurt.
there's levels to this shit. Meaning there's a level above me. That's all I'm saying. But yeah. So I'm just getting used to that. Trying to change my sleeping patterns.
Are you on like melatonin or anything like that to help you out?
Mainly the hub, but no melatonin.
You ever take no drugs at all?
I've been taking the hub,
What is that?
the porn hub.
Oh, shit. Oh, my God. You whacking off the sleep gene?
Taking fat naps and shit.
Oh, no.
Naps.
But but nah. I'm just I like try to schedule myself not to stay up past 10 or nothing like that. Try to go to sleep early. So it's a challenge, but I'm getting used to it slowly but surely.
Man, I couldn't do that shit. I'm just like Josh. As soon as they fucking open up that, bid line, just fucking come back. Just straight back. Yeah, because that's some wild shit. See, that's what I'm wondering.
Your seniority's up there though, right?
Hey,
So
good.
It's in the upper middle class, I would say.
So you think you can get a weekend like when you come back PM?
Maybe a weekend day. Maybe I don't know about a whole weekend. Maybe a weekend day.
Listen, I'm gonna try to apply for lead next time. Hopefully, same shit that you guys going through don't happen. I'm just hoping.
Might as well go for it. Shit,
I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but it's only one cycle you're gonna be fucked. But you're, once big
I'm
comes
like
around.
right behind Josh. So
But the thing about it, he always open it up like right before a cycle starts. So
yeah. So it's like, well, some like
And then
last.
they don't let you bid for it. So.
Yeah, and like last time when they did that, they I'm pretty sure they had got all the leads before the cycle even changed, didn't they?
something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know, because it was well into the new cycle when,
But other than that, nothing much. Waiting to get paid. Broke.
you about to get that bonus.
Bonus.
Yeah, I'm going straight to Onyx too.
How you gonna say you going broke? Man? Yeah, going straight down.
Oh,
Alright.
shit. I'm ignorant.
So you can be broke again. Alright.
Exactly. I don't give a fuck.
Alright, what about you, Jake? How's your week?
Pretty good. Let's see if did I do anything. I was thinking about like how I can make money, so I think I'm gonna buy a pig and have that pig hunt for truffles and see if I can make money that way.
Oh, yeah, I seen that. I seen a video about that on Facebook. seems to be a very lucrative business, but it's very hard to find truffles. It's like finding a gold nugget or some shit.
Yeah,
but you gotta buy a truffle first so you can get the truffles.
But here's the thing though, once the pig finds the truffle, you gotta make sure it don't eat the motherfucker too.
That is true.
What kind of pig are you trying to get? Because those motherfuckers real huge.
I don't know, man.
trying to eat that pig.
I mean, shit.
Oh man.
All I'm saying is, after you're done with it, we can make some hella pork chops.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Well,
you
probably want to keep it because he needs more money for the truffle.
There's more pigs, and there's more pigs where they come from. Once you get that truffle money up, he can get quite a few pigs.
Make sure you don't train them to smell for truffle butter.
Whoa, this guy is wild. You do know what truffle butter is.
Yeah.
Okay, that needs no explanation.
Make sure he's like, smell truffle butter here. But anything else?
No, not lately. Like I said, I just been hoping and praying that I get this job that I've applied for.
What is that? Is the
that Gigolo that was on Indeed?
K9.
Oh, K9? Oh, yeah, I remember you told. Cause like there was one time you were like the police. Now.
Yeah, I still have one more year for the police test too, so I keep on working out for that stuff. That's been killing me. I this last week went to the gym and I took a kettlebell. And they see how many times you can actually swing the kettlebell up to like your face and back down. I did like 90 times, and my back was just like in shock for like the rest of the week.
But you did it 90 times.
That's 90 impressive. Times, just like keep on going up and down.
That's impressive.
You know, when you masturbate,
I could probably do it 9 times.
You masturbate a lot, brings up stamina and shit. So
you would know. You would know.
I'm just saying.
I'm just going to take your word for it. I'm hands off, literally.
Hands off.
But that's what's up, man. That's impressive. 90 times for that.
But like like when you get done, you're like, I went too far. It was one
Maybe you just wanted to test your limits,
Right.
So well, you're max. I guess you call it maxing out,
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Oh.
What about you, Oz?
But before I start saying anything, shout out to Kia, shout out to Sean, shout out to Joe. Unfortunately, they couldn't be here with us today.
Still a Jai down there.
Yeah, Jai, up in the sky, trying to get high, living his life.
Yeah.
Ours. Anyway. Yeah, Sean just wanted to take a break, so, everybody needs a break sometime. He's been going through a lot in recent times, so, just let him take a break. And Kia, I guess she was feeling sick, so she just couldn't make it. Well, she might make it. I don't know if she's gonna pop up randomly, because sometimes she does that. But other than that, my week pretty hectic. Not really. I just got my car back again because I took it to the shop again so they can install some shit, and I don't know. It's just a transmission mount. I don't know what that does specifically. I know it mounts it to the car and makes it stiff or whatever.
Makes it stiff.
Shut up, John. I do that. It's like you can't say shit. That makes it stiff. Oh,
mount it.
Mounting it stiff.
Oh, wow.
But bro, it's like every time I rev the car, this shit rumbles like it's a new beast or something. Like if you ever drove like a Mercedes or one of those V8 cars or whatever, it just feels like it's shaking through the whole car. It's kind of crazy. Sounds good though, but it's just,
you got it souped up or something?
No, all I did was I had to get a transmission fixed because my transmission went out again, and while they were getting it fixed, they said, oh, you need a new mount for the transmission because if the other one was blown, they said I needed I had a oil leak back there that they just plugged up. It didn't really cost too much to do the additional stuff, but yeah, when they threw that transmission out on it should, I guess you just feel the transmission a lot better. So anytime it changes gears and does all that crazy shit, you feel it inside the car, and it's kind of like really crazy. It feels like a supercar or some shit.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, it's kind of weird, but yeah, I mean, what else? Just been hanging out with my girlfriend, Nikki. Seems
I suppose.
say some
Yeah,
shit.
I'm over here.
So here, always off the cam, but you know she's always here at least. You know. I love you. I love you. What the fuck is that? But other than that, you know, just been working and shit and trying to make this bread, dog. Trying to get. So did you see any change yet from when you got from lead paying stuff?
I'm supposed to get a disc check, so I don't know.
I need to know
That's
how
to be
much,
determined.
I need to know how much extra that is, cause
Shit don't matter. It's extra. That's all you need
right.
to know.
But it's nothing to hold your breath over.
No,
Yeah,
right.
right.
Brand like you get the lottery or some shit. But
Well, we supposed to be getting that raise in January or some shit. Or did we already get it?
Mm-mm. Takes place, at the first of the year.
Okay. But yeah, other than that, nothing happened eventful in my week as much. I might just go. Yeah.
No, it's directional, so if you're not speaking straight at it.
But I was like right here, and he still cut out. I don't know, but
that's the new technology. Bro.
yeah, we're trying to get used to this new stuff. But all right, so y'all want to talk about that Lizzo incident? Oh.
I mean, I don't know much about it. All I know is she showed up to a Lakers game in like a thong or some shit. Did you see? Did you see the pictures?
No.
I'm about to look that shit up right now.
I mean, I'm not too familiar because I don't follow Lizzo or nothing like that. A lot of people were saying it was in bad taste, but a lot of, I'm sure it's two sides. You see it now, I'm sure it's two sides to the story where some people will say it's in bad taste, it's classless, she like a slut, trans, whatever. Then there's going to be other women who probably, who are probably BBWs who feel like, hey, she's happy in her own skin, so.
But I guarantee you, if I went out there in my underwear,
oh, you wouldn't get in the door.
no, like some tidy whities specifically, not no boxer briefs, some straight up tidy whities.
Once
tidy
again,
whities.
they kick you, ain't getting through the door.
Like, what the hell? Like, you shouldn't be able to just walk. Like, this shit looks crazy. You shouldn't just be able to be out in public wearing that shit. Like,
I mean, this America. You can do what the fuck you want to do.
except me, because they gonna kick me out the door.
Yeah, that's because nobody likes you. But other than that,
Yeah, that's some wild shit. Like, I mean,
Not only did she show up in a thong, but she twerked the whole entire time.
oh yeah, she was twerking and shit. But I mean, like I said, she's comfortable. She living her life. She's comfortable in her skin.
Right.
So it's gonna be some women who like, they're gonna feel empowered by it because they feel like, hey, she's embracing her BBW-ness or whatever you want to call it.
BBW-ness?
I don't know. I just made it up. But however you want to call it, some people gonna feel like I said, I feel like you're gonna be on one side or the other. You're gonna feel like she's empowering women to embrace themselves and to be secure in how they dress and not worry about what other people think about them. It's gonna be others.
But she was wearing pants, right?
No. So it was just like assless chaps,
Yeah.
essentially. I mean, yeah, I understand all that, and that's a thing, but at the same time, there's a thing called class and respect for other people. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everybody wants to see your ass in a song.
Yeah,
Especially, somebody of her stature per se. Some people don't have necessarily a problem with that. Some people do,
But she don't give a fuck about that. That's what she want to do. You know what I'm saying? So like,
I have no issue with what she was wearing. If that's what she wanted to do. My issue is, those seats are dirty. Just sitting in a
Yo,
thong
you're
and dirty
you're
ass.
going from a sanitation.
Right.
Key. And also, did she wear a jacket in there or some shit? I'm pretty sure it was cold. Unless that.
Well, no,
what was the game at?
I think it was in LA, so I don't think it's that cold.
Yeah, it's probably.
Now the only real issue I can see is if some
Definitely
parents,
not.
if parents are out there with their kids, like a little girl who probably look up to her, listen to her music or whatever, and seen her out dressed like that, and probably think that's okay because she doing it. I can see parents having a problem because that's a basketball game is supposed to be a family friendly environment, and you got somebody coming walking around with thongs on.
And guess what? You got the other issue where it's like, let the kids, they think for themselves. They don't think about that. That's probably what some of the parents are saying and shit. I'm like, come
I'm
on.
not gonna lie. She looks like she's like a 5-year-old that didn't know how to dress herself before she
Yeah,
walked out
because
the door.
it looks like those old pajamas with the assless backs with the buttons and shit.
Nah, that look like that shit from that Gangsta Delicious clothing line. Remember on Boondocks? Motherfucker had them pants with the butt cheeks coming out. Yeah, the motherfucking.
Was it? They were wearing skirts and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Like, it's a skirt. You can hide your gun in it though.
Oh man.
It's a purse. You got a purse on? Yeah, I mean, like I said, if you're a parent and you had your child out there, I can see how you feel.
Yeah, like I'm gonna see if I see any children in the background.
But I'm sure there's plenty other scantily clad women out there. Maybe not to that degree, but I'm sure it's.
Well, they put that shit on the Jumbotron, so I'm pretty sure everybody there had at least one child in there that had to see something.
Yeah. I mean, now I see it. It's not really like a thong. She has like some fishnets on, but
I didn't see that.
yeah, if you look real close, it's like fishnets. But man, I don't think it was necessary. I don't know. She
Did
just
she have fishnets on it?
I don't know.
You didn't see it?
I didn't see what she had on. I just saw.
Oh, you just saw the ass.
Oh,
of
you
the child.
saw the moves.
I guess so.
Just that.
Yeah. If you look really close, you might see a little.
I don't know about the fishnets, bro.
There's one picture here with a fishnet. I don't know. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's it. But that don't cover up shit.
Yeah.
She might as well not even wore that. That ain't covering up shit.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like, especially somebody like her who she made a message that she can do what she does despite her size. You know what I'm saying? Which is a good message, for a lot of other people. But then you just do something like this, like what? It's like, oh, everybody should just, follow suit. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, is this the message that you want to convey?
I don't know if she was necessarily sending a message though. I think
The first time when she was singing and stuff? Like,
no, I'm talking about what she had on. I don't know if she was sending a message or maybe she just felt like wearing that and wanted to be, that's what she wanted to wear and she just didn't care what people thought about it. I'm not sure.
To me, that shit look like advertisement.
For what?
You already know, Josh.
Yeah, like she's
Damn,
about to
bro,
go to the
say
club.
she slut bucket, bro.
I didn't say that word, but that's advertisement.
Maybe it's promo.
It's
She
a
got an
big-
album coming out. I don't know.
Yo, it's just a billboard right there.
Damn, bro. She got a billboard. Damn, the whole billboard? Not even a sticky note. Not a sticky note, not a yard sign, just the whole billboard.
Yeah, it's
right
the whole
there.
billboard just ready. Hey, place advertisement here.
Damn, bro.
That's what that is,
Wow. They're sad. But no, I don't know if it's that deep. I mean, she hasn't really. I don't know if she's spoken about it, so I'm sure she will. But I haven't heard her say anything about it, so it's pretty much all speculation. I just feel like people gonna be on one side or the other. Me, I don't really give a fuck. I don't really follow her music. I mean, so I'm not really a fan. Not saying nothing wrong. I just don't follow her music. So it's like, and it's in LA, so I'm sure there's plenty of other weird dressed people out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
Yeah, they're called ladies in the night.
right. I mean, there's plenty of other scantily clad women or women with other weird shit on like that. So it's like, it's just because she's famous that's a big deal, I guess. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because anybody else did that shit, it'd be like,
If anybody else did that, they'd be like, or they might make a funny meme out of it. It wouldn't be controversy about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So because she's famous, it's controversial. But if it was just a regular Joe Blow or Jane Doe, it would just be like, man, look at this fat bitch at the Laker girl. She got on, make a funny meme at her about her. You know, but it's just overblown celebrity bullshit that America be on, and I'm not really hip to that.
Yeah.
Celebrity worship, worry about the fuck some rich people do. I don't give a fuck, honestly.
Yeah.
But
so, also, let me see. I'm just going off what Kia put in. Just gonna keep everything.
Hey, you
said,
wear that, but you can't even trust a fart. You know what I mean?
You can't even trust a what?
Fart.
Oh my god.
well, you better not eat no Mexican food.
Yo.
You out here shark, man.
Ew.
Shark. No. Shark.
Oh, can you imagine? Oh,
Shark Week.
Shark Week. Oh man.
Yo, you guys are wild.
Oh man. So apparently, do you know anything about the Mike Vick situation, Josh?
I don't.
So
I think he got some kind of award.
He's going into the Hall of Fame, which that's
NFL Hall of Fame.
yes.
Okay.
So that's why everybody's like, you shouldn't let a dogfight, person who let dogfights get into, the Hall of Fame, which, who cares?
So wait. Didn't he serve his time for that shit?
He did.
So why is everybody worried about
And he
that?
came back and he said he apologized. He learned his lesson.
Yeah.
Started playing for the Eagles
He did
again.
community service. He denounced everything he did about dogfighting. Like he served his. See, that's the thing I don't like. People make a mistake. They serve their time. Let them move past.
And these same people that's talking all this shit, right? How many mistakes they made in their lives? You know what I'm saying? But guess what? Because they're not famous. Nobody's
They're like, well, I didn't get put into the Hall of Fame, so I did mine.
Yeah, basically, I'm like, some people, y'all, everybody has done some shit that they regret. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So don't hold, especially if he served his time. Why are you holding him accountable for something that it's not like he got away with that shit? You know what I'm saying? He went to jail for that.
He served his time. He did his community service, and like I said, he spoke out against dogfighting when he got out. He learned from his mistakes. He became a positive role, a citizen, a reformed citizen from his mistake, and people just still try to hold it against him for whatever reason. I have my own thoughts about that, but
Eagles gave him a chance to play again. I thought it was hilarious because when he was playing, I was still going to the games and stuff like that. So every time he came out, they started playing Who Let the Dogs Out, and it was hilarious.
That's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yo.
Well, they should have played Get At Me, dog. Should have played some DMX. But I mean, it's been people who've done things in the past who request. For instance, we know he was never found guilty of it. We know Ray Lewis is gonna go to the Hall of Fame. People still call him a murderer. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if he probably already made it. I'm sure. I think he already made it. I think he did already get in. But people call him a murderer, and he still got it at the Hall of Fame. Of course, like I said, he didn't get convicted for it.
Yeah.
But he got caught up in some shit,
But guess what? Since he was even around that shit, since he didn't get convicted, he didn't do it or nothing. That should just be dropped. Kind of like, with the R. Kelly situation. Since he did that shit and he was there, but it was dropped. So it's like, it doesn't matter. He didn't do it. You know what I'm saying?
People need to start learning how to separate his sports career and his private life.
Yeah.
Because OJ's in the Hall of Fame.
Say that. They can't take that back.
Shit.
So
shit. That's even crazy.
What are you gonna sit there and be like, well, he's a damn murderer, so we should take him off?
No, he didn't get convicted of it, so technically he's not a murderer.
I don't know. Have you read his book?
Hey, listen.
His book is named How to Stab a Bitch.
I'm just saying,
and get away with it.
I'm just saying what everybody else is saying. I know that motherfucker. He possibly did that shit. Like, that's obvious.
I think it's hilarious if you write a book about how you possibly could have done a murder. This is how I would have done it.
You're guilty. And then, see, people that get away with shit, what's funny? They always end up doing other shit to fuck themselves over. Every single time. I don't know why. You get away with it. I can
He
say
did some dumb shit though. He tried to steal his own shit. Instead of he had the goons. Send the goons to get the shit. But you don't show up with the goons.
Yeah.
Like what mob boss go with his hired hitman on the fucking hit while they around when they get killed?
OJ wasn't a gangster or nothing like that. He was never like that. He was just like trying to be.
Well, shit, he did some gangster shit.
Yeah.
A black man killed a white lady and get away with it. That's some gangster shit.
Yeah.
Well, we don't know. Speculated.
Yeah.
Speculated.
But you know that's
wink, wink, nudge,
Wink,
nudge.
wink.
But just because Mike Vick got convicted of it, he's different, right? Nah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, granted, people love their dogs, but sometimes I feel like people feel like maybe sometimes I just feel like sometimes people put an animal's life or a livelihood above that of a human. You know, what he did was wrong as far as the dogs, but like I said, you're still trying to condemn this man and fuck up his life for a past mistake. Almost like you're caring more about the dogs than this individual's life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not saying, you know, okay, fuck it. I'm gonna say it. Like, I value a human life over animals. Like, you know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I care. If I have a dog, of course I would care for it, but I would never put it above another human's value of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's like, I feel like some people place them in a kind of put them in a category, and whether it's fair or not, a lot of black people look at it as because he's black, they don't value his life as much as that of a dog was. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of black people feel like, you know, like from you know, even back to slavery days, like, you know, when they had 3/5 law or whatever, a black man was 3/5 of a person. That was an actual law.
I'm actually about to talk some shit about that, but
But a lot of black people feel like the whole Michael Vick thing was bullshit. But he did get caught. And the sad part, he got caught, from what I understand, from family members snitching on him. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, but there's been cockfighting that's been going on all over the place. I haven't heard of anybody who got locked up for that.
Well,
You know, the first time when he first got arrested, he didn't even know it was against the law.
I don't think anybody did.
He was like, shit, when we're in the hood, dog fights are happening all the time.
Yeah.
It's just normal shit.
That's my first time in my life hearing anybody getting locked up for that. Before or since the Michael Vick incident. So I don't know if this happened again. I could be wrong, I'm not sure. But like I said, especially people who are the biggest advocates of not fucking with him is, what's that, Peter? The animal rights activist?
Yeah.
They have, you know, they support animal lives or whatever, but at the same time, let that shit go.
Yo,
it's over with. It's
there's
done.
more people that do that stuff and support it than I feel like they do for human beings sometimes. That's what it feels like.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying?
Especially those
people. Don't get me wrong. I know totally that animals are truly innocent. Like, if I love animals, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And they are truly innocent. They don't, like, everything they do is either instinctual and not under their control. So I get it, right? But at the same time, you know, like, other human beings, like, we help. If you want to help animals, help people first, because the more people you help, the more people you have to help the animals. You know what I'm saying? It kind of works that way, and it's like I see they have all these facilities. They, like, you don't want to see a dog on the street, but I see every other day I see a homeless person walking on the side of the road. But you don't see no you don't see no dogs in the streets. You don't see no cats, because make sure to get them off the streets. But if you see a homeless person, he can stay there. It's fine. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like it's inhumane.
Yeah, because you can't.
But on
the only animal
flip
shelter
side, the animals eventually get euthanized if nobody pick them up. I don't think they're doing it to homeless people.
True.
I hope not.
Yeah, you're right.
You know.
You're right. No, they let the streets handle that though.
Yeah.
They let the streets handle that, but you're right.
But like I say, I feel like people just need to let it go. The man, let him be a reformed citizen. He served his time.
Right.
Just judge him on his play on the field and leave all that other shit in the past. He's already served his time for that. He's done his community service. Let's just judge him for what he did on the field. When you saw him on the field, did you see a Hall of Fame quarterback?
Yes.
When I seen him, I seen something I've never seen before. I seen a quarterback who was the fastest player on the field, which has never been like that before. I mean, that usually goes to wide receivers or running backs or, safeties or DBs or whatever, but I've never seen until Michael Vick a quarterback who could run that fast, that elusive, and still be able to throw the ball that far down the field. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he was a mutant.
He was like, now we all on Lamar Jackson because he's basically Michael Vick 2.0. But before him, and even Randall Cunningham, I seen him when I was a Randall Cunningham fan when he played with the Eagles. But even he wasn't on Michael Vick's level. To me, it was started with Randall Cunningham as far as the scrambling quarterback, who could outrun the sack or the pressure and still make plays. Michael Vick took it to another level, and then Lamar Jackson is taking it to the level we see now. But like I said, if people just look at, if you just put the dog fighting, if you didn't know anything about the dog fighting and just saw that man for what he did on the field, you would say, yeah, that's a Hall of Fame.
Of course, yeah. Like you said, he got to so many Super Bowls. I think it was like 4 in his career.
I don't know if he got that many Super Bowls. I don't know how many Super Bowls he went to, actually. I'm not sure.
Because he was with the Eagles when they went to the Super Bowl. The one that we lost back in.
Talking about the Donovan McNabb TO.
Yeah.
Nobody remembers the losers.
Right.
We only remember.
Except for us, because anytime Eagles get to a Super Bowl, we're like...
you all won once, so...
Yes.
I just remember playing with him on Madden. That motherfucker was unstoppable on Madden. Madden, I think it was Madden 05. He was on the cover. Couldn't do nothing with him. I run past your ass, so I'm throwing it down the field. Ain't nothing you can do.
I wonder, everything seemed unbalanced in Madden. Like, back in the earlier days, it seemed very unbalanced.
Yeah, this guy more realistic now, but, he still got his flaws. But that's a topic for we can go on all day about that shit.
Yeah. So, going back to your comment on how black people back in the day used to equal, like, was it
3/5 of a man?
3/5 of a man. So I was watching the news, right? And this teacher was having, I guess it was a history teacher, and he was trying to teach a class on it. And I guess as the work, it says, I think they had like a homework or either schoolwork that said on the piece of paper how many slaves equal at least 4 white people.
Oh yeah, I did see that post on the news.
So, and people were in an uproar about that kind of shit. It was here in Charlotte, so it's a Charlotte thing. But people were in an uproar about, it's a racist teacher and what's his punishment and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, I really don't think he was trying to be offensive.
I don't either.
Yeah.
See, I think what he was doing was giving a history lesson and a math lesson all at once, all at the same time.
But in the moment you're not really thinking about it, and then you give it the work, and then the kids bring that shit home, and the parents look at them like.
So he actually did write these questions.
Yeah. So I don't have a picture here, but when I saw it on the news, they showed a piece of paper with it showing.
Right, but I was wondering if that was like, how like most of those teachers just pull out like questionnaires from back in like the 1950s.
No. It was something self-made because they said he wasn't even. The principal said he wasn't even authorized to do it. I think he just made it up on his own.
Oh.
But
what's the answer though? I'm saying 12. I'm doing the math in my head. I think it's 12. If somebody knows the answer, please let me know. I think 12 slaves was equal to 4 white guys. 4 white people back then.
But it's like, why have we become so sensitive? Like, if you really, especially when it first showed up, I was like, I don't think he was trying to do anything. I think he was legit trying to give an actual, because 3/5, and how much is it equal? It was like also another question said, how many, how much is it equal for them to be able to vote a certain amount of times? And he also did that with the 3/5. So I was like, looks like it was mostly math and history, like you said, Josh, at the same time. So it's kind of like, why is everybody, you know?
He was just waiting for the answer. Like,
I mean, if I was a parent, me personally, I wouldn't be offended. I can't knock other parents for being offended, but me, I'm like, I wouldn't be offended because I mean, this is a part of American history for Black people. Like, this was an actual law. So if you were to actually do the equation and figure out the answers, you would be like, damn, it took that many fucking slaves to equal one person? Like, that's how little they thought of Black people back then. It would put things in perspective.
Yeah.
Once you get the answer, that's how I would look at it.
I don't think you would even forget that kind of thing. Doing the math and seeing how much it equals. I think that's something that would be instilled in your brain. Like, oh shit, this is actually, like you said, like kind of crazy. You would never forget that thing. It would be with you forever. Like, if that shit happened as well, you solve a math problem at the same time. So,
maybe, I don't know. Yeah.
I mean, like,
the society we live in, man, it's just so easily to offend people and be politically incorrect that you really don't know that you crossed the line until you cross the line.
Yeah, it's like, oh.
Sometimes people do it on purpose, but sometimes people are innocent and really don't know any better, or sometimes their intentions aren't what people make it out to be.
Yeah.
Not everybody has harmful intent.
Right. So when they say or do something, they're not really thinking of it as offending somebody racially or their gender or their sexuality. They're just making an honest opinion or a viewpoint on a topic that they're familiar with, and people take it the wrong way, and then they have to backtrack and apologize for it, you know, if they choose to. Most times if it's somebody who just said something off the whim, that's one thing, but if they're in some kind of professional career, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna have to go back and apologize for it.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like people just throw out, oh, racism card any chance they get for anything. Oh, racism. Like, racism is, I feel this word racism is a very serious word, and you shouldn't just use it for every single situation. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some things are prejudice, maybe some things are just like we were talking about, like just misunderstood.
Right.
And you just can't necessarily just paint the word racism on it, because that's a more severe form. Like, who knows? Nobody knows this man. Like, they don't know what he's dealing with.
Now, if he took it a step further, that would be towing the line. I wouldn't say it'd be, for instance, if he took the actual Black kids that was in the class versus the white kids in the class and lined up all the Black kids on one side and was like, it take these many of your Black students to equal these white kids over here. It would put things in even more perspective for the students, but as a parent, you'd probably be like,
yo, so segue into another thing. If he was on that Zimmer shit, like that fucking motherfucker.
Speaking of Zimmer, you know he tried to sue.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say.
$100 million.
He's trying to sue the fucking family of Trayvon. Like, what the fuck? And people don't think this motherfucker is racist. At that point, I have nothing else to say. He also was trying to go to a, what's it called?
For, like, is he saying it for, like, wrongfully accused kind of thing? Like,
not wrongfully
defamation, defamation of character. That's what I meant to say.
He did a lot of wild shit after that case. I'm sorry, he did a lot of wild shit. Like, he was going to, like, not KKK summit, but, like, he was going on
white nationalists.
Yeah, white nationalists.
I think they said he sold the gun or something.
Yeah, he sold the gun usage
for like 200,000 or 100,000 or something.
That's fucking crazy, man. There's no.
My thing is but it's not the fact of the gun or who the fuck would want to buy some shit like that? That's who I want to know. Who was the buyer of that?
You know who's buying that shit.
I know. I'm saying I want to know who actually was. I know the category they fall in, but who was the actual person who wanted to buy something like that?
I don't know, bro. Like, these people are fucking crazy, and it's like. It's almost like the OJ case. He, in plain colors, showing that he did that shit intentionally. You know what I'm saying? Just straight up showing that he did. And he got away with it.
But same shit. The justice is the main predicator on what you know. It's on what you can prove.
Especially if you're in Florida. That stand your ground law is a bitch.
Yeah, they're supposed to be changing that.
I mean, I understand it, and I get it. It's good for like certain situations where, you know, you really need that type of stand your ground stuff. But as far as like people just having small altercations.
Like somebody point their finger in your face.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
I feared for my life, so I had to kill him.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
because that's what they're taking it to.
Because you guys have that here.
Yeah, we
Saying you're real.
Damn shit.
The
What you got going on over there?
I get a mint.
Damn, bro, you got that. You know what I mean, bro?
No, just
Damn.
mint. Why you looking at Nikki?
Yeah, she like, yeah, this shit. Damn.
I can't even
Bro,
sit.
kicking.
I can't even look him in the face sometimes.
Damn.
Nah, my breath don't stay.
She gotta use one of them Hong Kong protester masks talking to your ass.
Dog, where the fuck you pull this shit out? Like, nobody was even thinking remotely anything Hong Kong. Like, you just pull this shit out of nowhere.
I do love the people that go through there, like around like airports and other public places wearing that shit. Creeps me the fuck out.
You mean just
Creeping
like,
out. I'm walking around here with no
doctors-
fucking
doctors.
mask on. I don't know what the fuck.
what?
you got.
Well, you know
What? You don't see that shit?
No, I see it. I just don't
No.
want to be.
You don't
know,
know
for
why-
our job, we gotta actually touch people. And I gotta pat you down with your Sub-Zero mask.
you don't know why they wear that shit, right? Does anybody know? I know.
I think it's to protect themselves from us.
Shit, no.
No, I'm talking about like
Oh, no.
diseases or viruses.
That's what I thought until I was watching some documentary on China and Asian countries in general. At least around the China region, it's because of the high pollution, and there's a lot of them wearing the mask helps keep the pollution or them from getting all that shit into their lungs. Some days are worse than others, like where the pollution is really high and
Right.
they actually have to wear the mask if they're trying to go outside because they can get like bronchitis and all kinds of breathing issues and all that kind of stuff. So it's actually for that specifically. And I guess when they travel outside to different cities, they have the same thought process. That's what I'm assuming. So it's either that or they are sick and they're trying to keep us from getting sick. But it's also, I think it is to where they're not grasping that they're in a different city that's not as polluted as China.
Or country, because we're not as bad as China.
That's true. But yeah, like China, like I know when my brother went to South Korea, he said he started like his mucus was actually black.
Damn.
Yeah, it's bad. Like South Korea itself does not have as much pollution, but the fact that China's right above it, and when the wind blows down, it just goes straight through South Korea, and they just get the same effects. Yeah, so it's like, some days are good. Right after it rains, it's like the best time to go outside because all the rain collects most of that pollution and disperses it. But like if it's hot and it hasn't rained for a while, usually or windy, that's when it brings all the pollution in, stuff like that. So
Interesting. Okay.
So how else did Kia have for us today? Alright, so what do y'all think about the Trump impeachment hearing, all that shit?
I mean, I look at it as, I guess you could say it's necessary. My only problem with it is, if they impeach him, then who would take over? Will it be
Pence.
Mike? Right.
Yeah.
Who is like worse than Trump to
Right.
me, or from what I've understood that he's a blatant done racist shit. So
yeah,
it's
Yeah,
like
and
I would rather him be defeated in an election than to impeach him.
because Pence's like Christian views are like the through the roof Christian
Right.
shit too.
Mm.
So it'd be like he'll bring back saying
Slavery
the
shit.
Bible verses in schools and shit.
Right. So and we all know the government is supposed to be separate. It's supposed to be church and state is separate.
Right.
It's supposed to be. But with somebody who's that super religious or whatever, I think it's a dangerous narrative because we all know America is a nation of many religions, cultures, and therefore it's just not a good look to try to force a religion on people who don't abide by it.
yeah,
And then look down on them if they don't subject themselves to what you believe in.
Mhm.
So, me personally, I would rather see Trump defeated in an election. But that's a double-edged sword because I don't know if there's a challenger strong enough in the Democratic Party to challenge Trump. Despite all his flaws, he still has a strong following. There's nobody in the Democratic Party or liberal, whatever.
There's no
Obama who came out and just took the nation by storm.
Yeah,
from that side.
There's no Democratic Trump that's radical.
They ain't have to be radical. They just gotta capture the nation's attention. I mean,
no, but I'm saying,
Obama wasn't radical.
No,
you're right.
It's not that. But
at the same time,
they have to have a Democrat to persuade the minds of the Republicans that are in the Senate, because pretty much right now it's just a puppet show, trying to get people to like believe that he's evil.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Like, it's not going to go anywhere. So it's like, it was like a nice play for me to watch. Is pretty much all it is. Cause
yeah, this whole impeachment here, I was listening, I was like, this just seems so distracting for the American public. Like, while this is going on, what the fuck else is going on? That's what I want to know. What else is going on behind closed doors? Like, what is getting passed and what we got to really pay attention to? Because this is always on TV, right? And when there's nothing going on, like, they start to show the other stuff on TV. But since this is the main thing, it's nobody cares about anything else that's going on. Like, all the other laws that are getting passed and stuff like that. So, you know, because I remember last year Thanksgiving is when they passed that law that, what was it, for the internet?
Net neutrality.
Yeah, net neutrality. Like, during Thanksgiving, while everybody was not paying attention, they passed that shit. Right? So nobody, I mean, unless you were like prominently on YouTube at the time, because they were talking about it on YouTube, or trying to say a lot of stuff about it. But
I don't think people understand what net neutrality is.
Exactly.
I think net neutrality, for people who, this is what I understand it to be. Well, in the state we got it now, you can get on the internet for free, is whatever. Each website has the same amount of speed, you know, depending on if you got 4G LTE, 5G, or your Wi-Fi. You can get on any site at the same rate of speed, basically. But without net neutrality, you know, if you want to go on Verizon, they might slow it down. Some people, you know, your internet provider might slow it down, or might charge you extra to get on certain sites at certain speeds because they can, basically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
it's like they just passed. I think it's a very serious situation when it comes to our freedom on the internet. You know what I'm saying? But they chose to do something like that on Thanksgiving Day, right?
And then what happened right after that? You don't know?
What happened right after that?
The furlough, motherfucker.
Right.
Everybody was talking about that, so everybody paid attention to the net neutrality.
Yeah.
So now we have.
Shit. Yeah, you're right. I forgot. Yeah.
So now we have the, you know, we have this impeachment going on. But like I said, you know,
all the shit that's going under that. That's really what I want to know. What's happening? You see all these elections and shit going on during this whole thing too, right? Like, that's crazy. It's like you see all these elections, but I guarantee nobody's paying attention because they're worried about the whole impeachment thing. And it's like the evidence they brought to it was kind of like hearsay.
Yeah, it was definitely hearsay. It was more like, well, this guy said this. I'm like, well, where's that guy so we can talk to him? He doesn't want to talk. Well, then what the fuck are you bringing up for?
Like, this is the craziest impeachment here I've ever seen. Like, nobody, like, when you heard about the Nixon shit, like, they had everything. They had camera proof, shit. They had proof. They made sure to get that dude. And then he ended up, you know, leaving before they were able to get him or convict him of it. But this whole Trump thing is like, I don't think Trump's even worried about that shit. He's just like,
He should be.
Not really, because
he should be if it was that serious, though.
Well, for one, his party don't control the House, so he should be worried about it on that end.
Yeah, but even if it gets past the House, it has to go to Senate, which he knows that he has the majority.
Right, but here's the thing. Now, if they hold the Senate to a vote, I don't know government, but I'm just saying, if they hold the Senate to a vote to say, hey, we don't believe he's guilty. Now, let's just say down the line, something comes out where it shows, hey, he did have, you know, something to do with basically the Ukraine situation, where they say he was holding funds to help Ukraine because he wanted to get information on Joe Biden's business dealings or whatever. That's from what I understand.
The fact that Joe Biden even got business dealings like that is kind of crazy. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it still shows you how corrupt everybody is. Like,
oh, of course. I mean, me personally, I'm not necessarily. I'm a registered Democrat.
Yeah.
But I'm not like. There's some things I agree with from the Republican side. Some things I agree with on Democrat. I'm more neutral. But there's no. I would rather vote independent, but there's no really strong independent candidates out there that I could think would be able to do anything. So
and to be politicians like they are, you gotta step on a lot of toes. I guarantee you, push a lot of people down, knock a lot of people off. Because if you look at the whole Democrat debate, it's like everybody is attacking each other.
yeah,
Within their own party.
it's crabs in a bucket.
It's kind of crazy. It's like y'all saying all this bad stuff about each other, and then y'all trying to.
Yeah,
Well, you gotta understand.
trying to act like you're coming together to go against.
Yeah, so once one of them gets on top, oh, we're all friends now.
You gotta win in the Democratic Party. You gotta fight a two-sided war.
And
You gotta stand out and basically talk down to other Democrats and stand above them. At the same time, you gotta talk about Trump, how much you against him. So it's like you gotta go against Trump, and you gotta go against other people.
And then, like you said, that's kind of crazy because there's no other Republicans. It's just Trump.
Right, that's what I'm
It's
saying.
like he's way
I'm so
legit.
confused because like Democrats are like, yeah, we gotta get Trump out of there. And I'm like, why? You guys don't take over. Like, you guys don't get to pick the president after Trump's out. It doesn't work that way. It's either going to be Pence or they're going to like, you know.
But see, they're trying to, like I said, it's most of it more of a distraction because, like, the election is like next year, so it's like.
So they're going to say like, I fought to get.
I could see, but here's the thing. I think even if, let's say, Pence gets to be president, he'll only be president for a year at the most.
Yeah.
He's not going to win re-election. Nobody cares.
Mostly after.
But the thing is,
6 months.
with the Democrats, I think with the impeachment thing, what they want to do is they want to, if they are able to impeach Trump, then they can go and say, you see, Senator Cruz from Texas or Senator such and such from this state supported Trump, even though we found he was guilty and lying about the whole situation. So when they go up for re-election against a Democratic candidate, that's a political point they can use. Like, this guy supported an impeached president. He's a liar. He supports liars and cheaters. You know what I'm saying?
It does seem like a strategy, like to just try to knock him out of there. Because if he.
Well, not even Trump. I'm talking about for Senate, House votes when they come up, and Senate votes and House votes when they come up. So they can go against other Republicans who sided with Trump during the impeachment process. So when they go up and they say, hey, this guy sided with Trump, you know, an impeached president, so he supports a liar, cheater, whatever. I'm not with any of that shit. So vote for me. That's what I think.
Yeah, and it's like I was saying, even as far as like it's a strategy because if Trump makes it to the next election, I don't think he's gonna lose. Me personally, I don't think he's gonna lose because we don't have no strong Democrats like you're saying. And at the same time, the only way the Democrats would ever have a chance is if they get him out now. And then, like, they would have to be going up against Pence, and
because he's such a weak candidate.
It'll be easy to
he's such a weak candidate. Whoever comes out of the Democratic field, I think,
they'll have a chance.
Pence,
they'll have a chance.
Yeah.
So I think that's the strategy right now, but because I don't think they're gonna win if he goes to running up for president next time.
But like I said, you don't think there's enough evidence on Trump?
There is none. Because they're like during the part I was watching, they're like the Ukrainian president says, you know, Trump's a douchebag, blah blah blah, and he's a thief, and then the next guy shows up and he's like, it was like a CIA specialist, and he's like, there's no evidence that you know, the Ukrainian president, he says he loves Trump, he's a good guy, he treated him fairly and stuff like that. There's no, like, you know, he didn't badmouth him at all.
I never seen somebody try to convict somebody of something like this.
Yeah, like
off of hearsay.
No proof, no nothing.
I heard this. Like, that's the craziest shit I've ever heard. Like, that's like almost a rumor at TSA, like, being held true. You know what I'm saying? Usually when you talk to the person that did that shit, they'd be like, no, that's not how it happened.
But the only reason it's even going as far as because of Trump's own doing. He set a reputation for himself.
Yeah, he did.
Being a liar,
don't get me wrong,
cheater.
He did.
So even though it's hearsay, it's almost like people can believe it just based on the things he's done in the past.
And that's why they're trying to pull this one. We're like, well, people think that he's corrupt and he's a this evil president, so we'll just play along with it and see if everybody passes it.
Pretty much.
Get better evidence. It's just like at this point they've been talking about it so long and all that kind of stuff. It's like I think it's done. I really think it's done.
I think the one too is that cracks me up. Their biggest support during this thing was the guy who got fired from office. It was their overseas.
The whistleblower that
Yeah.
nobody named, that
Right.
nobody knows. Yeah.
But no, this one they named. It was one of the guys that was like the international.
Like an ambassador.
Yeah, and Trump fired him, and then that's when he went out and said, Trump's a douchebag, blah blah blah. Well, you got fired, so you're gonna badmouth your freaking employer that just fired you.
Trump has fired a lot of people. He fired his lawyer. He fired the FBI director. He fired so many people. Fired his campaign manager. He fired a lot of people.
He about to fire his wife and shit.
Nah, she knows too much dirt on him.
Yeah.
He fired him.
But yeah, it was it's just crazy though. It's just a giant show for nothing.
It's all it is ratings. It's a media thing for ratings.
It's funny how the media.
The media hates Trump, but they love him so much.
Yeah,
because he gives them so much bulletin board material. It keeps the public feeding into it because he does or says something that's outrageous that the media just eats up and they put it out there.
And it's like if Trump farted, it would be like Trump farted today, but he farted in the direction of the Democrats. How does everybody feel about that? Like,
pretty much, yeah.
I'm like, this motherfucker just farted.
He did it knowing that the wind was blowing in a southwest direction.
The media does not want Mike Pence to be president. He's boring. He don't have no. You can say what you want about Trump. He has charisma. He has personality. You might not agree with what he does, but he's used to being behind the camera. He's used to being a celebrity.
People say he's dumb. He's not fucking dumb. No. I don't think he's dumb.
I don't know. I don't think he's dumb. I just think he's impulsive. He feels like he
can
do what the fuck he want to do without really worrying about consequences.
That's because he was always rich.
And he was always the boss. So his mindset is he don't understand that. I mean, I'm sure people in his circle will tell him like, "Hey, I mean, we can tell you, but at the end of the day, you're gonna do what you want. But these are the steps you should follow to make this decision." He like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna do what I want. I'm the president," and he just does shit. I don't think he does it. I don't know if he's an idiot. I think there is some. I think it's just arrogance and his ego. His ego is what it is. You know what I'm saying? He thinks he can make decisions and things on impulse without really rationalizing or thinking about it.
It's arrogance and ignorance.
Yeah,
I think it's a combination of both. Because he don't know what he's talking about at the time, and he's not.
He got too many yes men.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they tell him no. They probably just be like, whatever fuck you want to do.
Yeah, because they're scared for their job.
He fired so many people. They're like, I'm just.
Listen,
at
this point,
they're probably like, I wrote you a script. You're probably not gonna read it anyway. Just have fun. I want to go back to drinking.
You want to listen to my mixtape? All right.
You got flashcards. You're like, yeah, read the flashcards. Fuck flashcards. Fuck.
Yeah, he's very scary president, I think, because I feel like a lot of Republicans resent him. They really don't want him there because
they resent him because he wasn't a politician before he became president. He just went straight to the top, where they had a political career and they couldn't get to the level he's at. So I think a lot of it is jealousy on their end.
And not even only jealousy, I think it's also fear because like
he has such a strong base. They can't.
As a Republican, it's crazy. Their own party, even in Democrat, it's like you can't say nothing that's bad about whoever's the head of like the office because it's like
shit. You can.
Yeah, but if you don't want to get fired, or
you talking about as far as them, as far as the Republicans?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You talking about it, but you mean people in the White House staff, like senators and shit, they can't get fired.
But but like people that
House representatives,
like so if you're in the House representative and you're a Republican, you can't say nothing opposing the president. You can't say shit, and I guarantee you, all the motherfuckers that's there is like. They have something they want to say, like, I don't agree with this shit. But they can't do that. And that's just crazy.
But that's the political game,
But I think that's just government in general. Because put it as our job. There's so much shit we want to say, and we're like, I need a paycheck, motherfucker.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, we can't say shit because either it's SSI or
Yeah, government
No,
clearance
but he's
stuff.
saying like you can't go on the news and work for TSA and be like, man, fuck TSA, this job ain't shit. You can't do that. Your ass gone.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think you would want to do
You
that.
come in the next day with that picture from the news, like, is this you?
Yeah.
Dumb shit. Yeah,
No,
you're
Go
out.
ahead and write this statement and tell us everything you said. Even though we watched that news clip, write this statement down. We want it verbatim.
But I guarantee you, if you disagree with somebody, like whether they be a manager or even an FSD, you can say it.
We say it to each other. Who the
Do you
fuck
say
is-
it to their face?
Right.
you-
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, you're right. You're right.
You don't say it to your boss.
Yeah.
But nobody would, you know.
So then that's the thing. is
Yeah,
that
you're right.
House of Representatives are like, all right, that's my boss, so I don't like it, but I need that fucking paycheck.
But now, if he does get impeached, you're going to hear the motherfuckers out the woodworks talking shit about him who are Republican. Because now they're in line to be the next president, possibly, without having to worry about Trump. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I knew he was a scumbag anyway. I just went along with it. He's a piece of shit. I'm glad he's out of office. By the way, I approve this message. Vote for me. So,
Yeah, that's exactly what it's gonna be like.
Yep.
but I'm not really into politics like that anyway.
I mean, I'm not. I just
mainly look at
I
it.
observe that shit though.
We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about? You know, it's gonna be a pretty short episode.
I'm trying to think. Let's see. Okay.
I mean, not really. I guess next week will be our pre-Christmas episode. I guess we're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
Yo, are we coming on Christmas?
No.
Yeah, we definitely not because I can't. Yeah. So, did you get that situation sorted? You know. All right, we'll talk about that off cam. But if nobody has anything else to say, we'll go ahead and end it now. But this was
Or
the
forever hold your peace.
But yeah, this was an Unfamous Podcast. This is Unreal Fiction.
Tasty Jake.
Any harder way?
Son of a bitch.
Wow.
Say it again.
Son of a bitch or safety J?
Nah, this Tasty I was just wait. You weren't ready for that. All right, this is the Unfamous Podcast. All right, guys. See y'all later.
Later.